What is up, everybody? It is Ted here with Bodies and Wigs. To those of you who were watching yesterday, I do apologize as I just fell asleep. I fell asleep while I was trying to teach you all something, and I was tired. It was late. It was 4 o'clock in the morning where I was. I was excited. I just got a new monitor, and I was wanting to play with it. I got a new setup here. You could see it. I got 3 screens now. It's amazing. I can see what's going on, rather than just two with a clunky TV that really is horrible with color. But now I have a new curved monitor, and that is what I was trying to really play with last night, and it just got so late that I fell asleep. And so I apologize to anybody that was watching and just watched me fall asleep twice. Not once, but twice. Twice. It happened on the first video. Got toward the end, I think I was talking about Phantom, and woke up a little bit through that, and I was like, whoa, I was like, I'm talking about Phantom. And then the second one I was talking about Ethereum and Bitcoin, and I don't think I got to any of the points I was trying to get to. I think I got to some of them, but not enough, that's for sure. So I'm going to do a follow-up video today, primarily focusing on Bitcoin and Ethereum. First, what I want to do is let's head over to Market Watch, and let's see what is going on with the crypto market today. Why not, huh? Why not head over to the crypto markets and see what's going on? So right now what we have here is, if you can see it up at the top, current cap about 1.3 trillion, right? So about Bitcoin dominance roughly about 60%. So it is still falling a little bit, but then again, the altcoins are starting to rise. Cardano holding extremely strong in the number 3 spot, which I am gratefully happy for, considering I do have a little bit of Cardano in my bag. Ethereum, you know what? I'm kind of glad it's going down, even though it still struggled to get above 2,000, hit 2,000, and it fell back way below. Well, not way below, but below 15,000. 15,000. Hello. Let me have my numbers right today. Let me get a sip of coffee here. Below 1,500, which I think is perfect. I am going to be sub-managing some accounts, and I was told to basically take $500 and of somebody's account money and say, hey, diversify it however you want. First, they said Ethereum, and I said, are you sure about that? And he said, yeah. And I said, well, I'm going to wait a couple days until Ethereum goes down a little bit more. And it was a good thing I did, because about the time this was happening, Ethereum was about 1,500 and about $20 or something like that on Friday. And I'm glad I waited. And I still think it has the potential to go down even more. We'll go down. We'll get through that in just a little bit. First, I do want to check to make sure that my live stream is not saying anything completely crazy, like it's not receiving enough. Okay, my live stream is actually doing really good on YouTube today. See, I haven't changed anything. YouTube will just be like, hey, we're not receiving enough of your information, and I'm like, I didn't do anything different. I don't know what you want from me, YouTube, but that's what YouTube does. Other things up here, let's see where the top 10 is. Chainlink moving its way up, thank God. I had just moved some money over from one source to another, and that other source is Chainlink, so glad I made that move. Polkadot still up there in the top 10, even though it has fallen a little bit lately. It still doesn't matter. And yeah, that should round out the top 10. I don't even know how Stellar, I mean, like, I get the understanding of Stellar, but I just, I don't, I mean, I get it's 40 cents. People want to jump in. It's cheap. They want to buy it and hope it goes 10x or something like that. But I don't like the fundamentals behind Stellar. I don't think it's eventually going to formulate in anything. XRP is still holding strong. And yeah, and Binance Coin. Not for sure what's going on with Binance Coin, other than the fact I think a lot of people are using Binance and maybe jumping ship whenever everything started falling, putting it over into Binance Coin to hold until things started getting a little bit better, and then switching Binance Coin over back to, you know, possibly Ethereum again, and then Bitcoin ultimately, because I think Bitcoin, I still don't think it's at its low. I still don't think it's at its low. I still think we got some room to grow, or still room to fall with Bitcoin, before it ultimately comes back up. Some others again I want to take a look at that I have been watching, and one would be that of Ravencoin. I think, if I could spell it correctly, I personally think Ravencoin is going to be one of those ones that's going to dominate the market once it can get full steam. Um, when I first discovered Ravencoin, it was about 5-6 cents. Got all the way up to over 20. Now it's fallen back to about 13. And again, this is like a peer-to-peer. I wouldn't say peer-to-peer, but basically it's a way to exchange commodities, um, and real-world goods access, virtual goods. Um, so the way I see Ravencoin is for way to people to kind of circumvent the stock market, basically. So, let's say you own, GameStop or something like that, like everybody's going crazy about. And somebody goes, I've got it. I bought it at 130. It's worth about 70 right now, but I don't want to get rid of it at a 70. Somebody else says, you know what, I think it's gonna go up to another 400. I'll buy it off of you for 200. And then the person goes, okay, that's better than what the market's actually offering for me. And so there you go. There's an exchange. This guy buys off GameStop for somebody from 200 when it's actually worth 70, and transferred it over this guy. He's got now the GameStop that he has added to his collection. GameStop could shit up to 400. To him, it's a discount. To the other guy, he made money too. He may have wished he would have held on to it, but hey, it's a win-win situation. But things like this can also be kind of detrimental to the stock market as well. Could be inflating prices that are not inflating but deflating prices, depending how you look at it. To see how money is going to be, kind of transferred under the radar. Not even being said, they're looking at, I mean, this says real world commodities. Commodities, whenever you think of commodities, you think of like soybean, wheat, gold, oil, things like that. I also think of commodities as, equities as well. So, this has the potential to blow open doors and to really change the financial world as we know it. That's why I'm extremely bullish on Ravencoin. I think that's why it's at number 57. And I think that's why it has such a huge market cap, because this could ultimately be one of the things that I believe, could change the internet as we know it. Other things that I have taken a look at has been Frontier, or Front, if I could spell. Again, at one point, it was in the low $1 area. And then recently it jumped up really, really high. If I can find the, there we go. It jumped up really, really high, almost $8. or there's been some other ones that I've shown it got up to $8. This one's showing only $5.75. Fell back down a little bit. Now we're looking at about 264. Probably a pretty good range. We all know, I think Frontier is going to be eventually going to be on Coinbase, which is the easiest and most efficient way for new consumers to purchase cryptocurrencies. So be careful and watch out for Frontier to make another run. I jumped in Frontier, but I jumped in a little bit too early. I saw this huge spike and I saw this pullback. I jumped in somewhere around 475. I'm not too worried. I'm still going to hold on to it. I think it's still going to make a run for its money. For those of you that may have watched my video yesterday, I think I got through all 22 of the altcoins that I had been watching. Those are the two that I really think are on the radar. So, what I want to do now is head over to Ethereum and Bitcoin to see what is going on here. You're going to see a lot of markings and a lot of, you're not going to know what's going to happen. I'm going to try to actually maybe get rid of some of this, maybe not, I don't know. But basically what I am looking at as a whole, I'm on a 4-hour chart here on Ethereum. Now, I do remember back in August, September, July, trading this with leverage and absolutely getting killed because it could not make up its mind whether it wanted to go up, whether it wanted to go down. And that back then I didn't really know a whole lot about trading. I didn't know what I was looking for. And also it was kind of a sideways market. Now we jump forward to today, and what still has me a little worried is what price ultimately likes to do. And I've said this in all my videos, and if you've been paying attention, and you know that this is true, price likes to do two things. It likes to rebalance, right, or it likes to balance itself out, and it looks for liquidity. And it could be doing both things simultaneously, right? So whenever I say balance, I mean I'm looking at, and I still have this one circled down here, I look at this little candle down here somewhere around 757, 732, between 757 and 732. This is when the market actually just took off and never came back. So it went sideways for a little bit right around that 700 range, and then there was a little bit of a down push, and then boom, it took off and it never came back. Now, I'm not saying that it's going to come back down to this area. I'm not saying that. I'm saying I hope it doesn't get down to right around this area where I have the no zone. The reason I have that as the no zone is because, well, for one, let's see here how to explain this without going too detailed about certain things. For one, you have this big red candle, making a huge wick, right, or huge tail. That would be people that are trading in leverage, getting up too close, following their stop losses too close, thinking that's going to continue going up, and then some kind of larger entity sells, right? They'll sell off everything, not everything, they'll sell off as much as they can, taking out all those people that were in leverage, whether they be in profit or not. Boom, buy right back up, and then continue on. So those are the kind of things you have to look out for, especially if you're trading in leverage. Don't try to move your stop loss too early, unless you really think it's going to get a turn for the worse. I am not the type of person that likes using indicators, because I don't want to rely on a crutch. I want to look at price, and I want price to tell me what is happening and what is possibly going to happen. And I think a lot of people should probably take that similar approach, because if you start using indicators as a crutch, you're going to use them too much, and you're going to think that that's what's in. You're going to blame it on the indicators. You're going to blame all your losses and everything. Well, this indicator was working for me at this time, but now it's not working for me at this time, and I just don't really get it. Well, it's because you're using the indicator so much that you're not actually focusing on what is happening. You're not studying price. You're not looking at history. You're not, understanding the thought process of the bigger traders, their mindset, what they're trying to do to the little guy. If you put yourself in their shoes, right, and you try to understand what they are looking for and what they want to do to you as a trader, then you're going to have better success versus I just want to have these indicators tell me exactly when to buy and when to sell. I'm sorry, the world doesn't work like that. Even the larger traders don't have indicators. They may have some robots or something like that, but even then the robots fail half the time. And the robots fail half the time because they had the institutional trading that's happening. So you never know what's going to happen. You don't want to slip up. You don't want to get caught up in the wrong time, the wrong area. You've got to start looking at these things on your own. So what I mean by price being able to rebalance, right? And price also, looking for liquidity, right? So what I mean by liquidity is where people have, and I'm sure all of you crypto people out there have set a limit order, right? Guess what happens whenever that limit gets ordered gets hit? Boom, liquidity is released into the market, right? So what traders, what institutions, what large people who have larger funds want to happen is they want those limit orders to get hit, right? Not only do they want those limit orders to get hit, but they also want you to lose at a loss. So that way that money transfers from you. If 90% of people lose money trading, then 90% of people should be effectively winning from trading, right? Because there has to be two opposite ends of the coin. That's not happening, right? Instead, 90% of the traders are losing money, and there's only a small percentage of people who are actually gaining the money. And it's all the same people, basically, is what it is. So what I have here is my own little personal diagram, I guess you could say, of what is going on. What I want to do here is go maybe to object tree. I don't think I have any of these. A quick note about trading view. What cool thing is you can go to object tree, and any kind of object that you have put out there, you can essentially find it, name it, and also you can classify it as well. If you want to go to here and you want to go to create group of drawings, you can let's say you have a certain group of drawings that you have on the 1 hour chart, right? You can put something like 1 hour notes, right? And then find anything that you have found within the 1 hour chart, and then you can group that in there, and then do the same thing for 4 hour, daily, 15-minute, 5-minute, whatever you want to do. And it becomes a lot easier to organize what you have drawn out. I have not done this with Ethereum, of course, but what I do want to look at is maybe hide all of these just for a second, and let's see what we can come up with as far as where Ethereum could possibly go and where Ethereum might go. Now, I had my hopes up the other day, yesterday, 2 days ago, was that Ethereum came down. It had this low here, right? And then, of course, bounced right back down from this low and then made another low. Now, I saw this and I thought, okay, could possibly be trending upward. We could be seeing another bullish scenario. And then what happened? Boom, fell out the bottom again. Went for another lower low. Not saying this is a bad thing. To be honest, this is a good thing. I'm waiting for it to possibly get lower because, the only thing that's going to hurt Ethereum is Cardano and Polkadot, right? Those are the only two that are in the same class. that are using smart contracts, and those could be taking away from Ethereum as far as gas fees. Now, the thing with Ethereum is Ethereum already has tons and tons of projects already out there that people are using. Everybody knows what an ERC20 token is. People are using them. So I still think, as far as dominance is concerned, Ethereum does have probably most of the dominant shares. Right? I mean, let me see if I can't find what kind of dominance Ethereum has. I want to say there is an actual chart out there that does show Ethereum dominance. Let me do a quick search here, and let me see if I can't find a chart that has Ethereum dominance. I'm sure there's got, I mean, there's one of those Bitcoin dominance. There's gotta be one with the Ethereum dominance, right? Because I know if I go to, let's see here. Where is it? It's called the crypto info. There we go. If you go to crypto info and you go to total, right? We go to total here, and then we go to total 2. These are basically crypto market cap. This is crypto market cap excluding Bitcoin, right? Unfortunately, the crypto market excluding Bitcoin does not. I mean, it includes Ethereum, but it does not exclude. I wonder if there's a total 3 now. No, there's not a total 3. There's got to be some kind of way we can find out what kind of. I know, and if anybody out there is, yeah, I'm the only person right now. Hey, Pickle Tickle. Yeah, well, you're not the only person. You're just the only person commenting. So, thank you very much for commenting. Um, maybe you might know if there's a way that I can find Ethereum dominance, but I want to say it's somewhere at least in the 20s. Because if Bitcoin dominance is around 60%. You know, there's so many altcoins out there, they can't be more than 30, right? I mean, 30 would definitely put it at, 90%, which would mean Ethereum would be at 10%. There's no way that Ethereum's at 10%. Ethereum's got to be at least at 20-25% dominant, somewhere at least around in there. I just don't know how to prove it right now. That being said, what I want to look at is, of course, I know people have, kind of try to predict price. I don't like predicting price. I think, you got to be Nostradamus to predict price. There's no way you can really predict price and nail it. What you can do, though, is you can take a look at historical patterns, and see where price is more than likely to go. And with things kind of like fall, I mean, to be honest, I just see this as a big pullback. We're gonna see these in a bull market. I mean, we're so used to it rallying and rallying and rallying and rallying that we're not used to seeing these kind of things. Who is used to seeing these kind of things? I'm not going to use this because I know the dollar's going to pull up, or maybe not the dollar's going to pull up. But gold is used to seeing this. I don't know if you ever anything about the stock markets or gold traders, anything like that. But I do want to show you something actually from USD, gold. And we're going to use the goal for the 4-hour. I should probably get rid of this. This was an old me trying to predict that gold was going to do a head and shoulders type thing, but of course it didn't happen. But yeah, this is what happened with gold back in early or late summer last year. We saw gold make do these parabolic moves. I mean, it was insane when gold was doing this because I was trading gold at this time, and you know, kind of did this weird upward wedge, and then after that, boom, another parabolic move, and you know, and we were getting near all-time highs. Actually, we were above all-time highs at this point, and people were wondering when it's going to stop. And the thing was is that so many people were shorting the market that it made sense to actually buy it, because if you bought it, then the people that were shorting it were still paying for the prices that people were buying it for. So you got to be careful when it comes to those kind of you know. But ever since then, gold has kind of went sideways, and unfortunately, it actually went really far down the other day, and I was surprised to see gold kind of make that kind of fall, because um, way I see gold in the way I have, it's actually getting near to where almost 0% of where I thought it was going to be. Because the way I see gold is, especially, I like to use Fibonacci's a lot, and Fibonacci's kind of tell you more or less where um, the institutions are going to be purchasing um, any kind of equity, any kind of crypto, any kind of anything, um, because they like to do it at a discount. So I always like to try to find my discount rates, right? Everybody's used to the 61.8%. Um, they like to go lower, right? They want to push the price lower so that way they can get a better discount. And the reason I use this right here as my low is because it is going sideways kind of in this area, and this is the last low it hits before it starts making a run. So this is why I use this on a fib. I do this for all of, you know, my fibs. I always look for, you know, I'm not going to sit here and place it right here. That would make no sense whatsoever, right? Or it's already going up. Why would you place a fib on somewhere that's already going up? Instead, place it at a low, um, where it would be your last low, before it makes, you know, before it starts making a move on its way up. Um, I don't know why 20% and the 30% are on there, and the only reason I have those on there is because of a particular reason. Usually has to do with the end of the week, and weekly cycles, so I'm going to take those off. But as you can see, you know, gold is kind of doing the same thing. So, and it's not only gold that's having this problem, right? So, as we look at crypto markets, and we've seen a lot of them going sideways, except for, you know, if we go to coin market cap and we go to, you know, the big winners, let me see here. Let me put this over to coin market cap here really quick here so you guys can see what I'm talking about. To so we can find the winners of the week, and I get exactly how to find those. There it is. Buy current. The filters maybe. Go with percentage of change. Here, let's go percentage of change up 10% or more. And let's see if there's any other ones. Hello, that didn't work out. Percentage of change up 10%, up 50%. I guess you can only choose one for some reason. But yeah, here let's just choose the highest one, up 10 to 50%. All right, so I had no idea what Eidos Kunin is, but it looks like it seems to be the one blazing this past week. Yeah, these are tokens that, to be honest, I have looked into a lot of tokens, and a lot of these I have not heard of. And maybe that's the reason why, is because people are going after tokens that are cheap, hoping that they triple in money, and they can turn around and buy a new product with them. What interesting to me is this Bloom's Loyalty Club ticket. I have no idea what this is, but look at this chart. It's going flat, and then all of a sudden, boom! It just jumps up. That is one interesting. I have no idea. Um, but anyways, I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna get off this, but if we go back to and we just look at the regular cryptocurrency market, almost everything in red, falling backwards. But not only is the crypto market doing that, the stock market is doing it as well. So if you think crypto market's the only one doing it, take a look outside and see what is going on with the regular market. You know, the stonks, as people like to say. Like I said, gold's doing the same thing, but gold's more of a commodity. But you know, if we were to look up something like you know, the SPX, which is and basically the number one you know, I guess you could say solidifier of all that is the market in the United States. Well, what happened to it this week? It made, you know, that wasn't even this week. This is this week right here. Of course, it did make a little bit of a jump up, but then it fell right back down. And same thing happened with, you know, Nasdaq. I think Nasdaq made some gains at some point, but then again it fell again. You know, you can see, we go back to and see. I'm going. This is going back a couple weeks ago, so this is all this week right here. You know, it jumps up a little bit and then falls at the end. If you want to go to, you know, Dow Jones Industrial, same thing probably happened. You know, it made a huge leap. And the thing about the Dow Jones Industrial is it is literally 30 companies within the 500 of the SPX. So these are your top 30 companies. Somehow have a huger value than the top 500, which I don't really understand. But there are certain sectors that seem to be doing better than others. The tech sector is not really doing that well. The way to check the tech sector is you can do QQQ, right? So QQQ is basically the EFT to invest in the what word I'm looking for here, the Nasdaq. So this is a way to directly invest in the Nasdaq without investing in the Nasdaq. Is you would do QQQ. Another one is XLK. XLK is the tech sector of the S&P 500. So as you can see, kind of similarities, especially from this past week. Again, at some point they all had to jump up, but then they also had to fall down. So again, it's what I'm trying to make a point is that it's not just the crypto market that is going sideways. It is also the stock market that's going sideways. Now, one of the main reasons for this, I think a lot of people probably understand, or at least may have heard of what is going on. And I'm gonna try to pull that up and let you guys know and make a decision for yourself. I should have had this pulled up and ready to go because this has been the story of basically the week. And we'll get it up here in just 1 second. There it is. You know, I realized I haven't been going back. This is one thing I hate about having 3 screens now, is I never know what screen that I'm on. You guys have been staring at Market Watch when I've been going over actual XLK and other things like that. So I do apologize for that, for not being able to switch back and forth. I need a producer on this show. Anybody want to volunteer to be a producer? That would be amazing. But as you can see here, Janet Yellen sounds like she's afraid of Bitcoin. What a shocker. The lady that was the head of the Fed during the Obama administration is afraid of Bitcoin. Who would have thought the new trend? But you know, if we ask Jen Psaki, you know, anything about Janet Yellen, we just have to be reminded that she is a woman, and she is surrounded by a diverse group of people, which I can respect. You know, I'm glad that we do have, you know, a female, you know, treasurer for the first time. I just wish she didn't come from the Federal Reserve, which the Federal Reserve is, you know, part of what has been happening, part of the reason why the dollar has been falling. And we put her as head of treasury. Yeah, of course she's not gonna like Bitcoin, but what she did, let's see if we can find it in this article. Look at this quote. We do not interpret Bitcoin's popularity as having a relationship with the public views on financial reserve conduct of monetary policy. Well, it's because you can't control it, and that's why you don't like it. Okay, we like it because it makes us money, and your dollar is not making us any more money, right? Look about our charisma and Bitcoin's value and energy consumption. Oh wow, Bitcoin's energy consumption. Okay, so Bitcoin is primarily mined in China, which also there is a company called Canon, or I'm not for sure exactly how I pronounce it. It's CANAAN. They're the ones who basically make these rigs that can build and mine Bitcoin. Um, is there any mention of China in here? It is noted that Elon Musk had purchased 1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin before pivoting back, whatever. I don't think Bitcoin is widely used as transaction mechanism. She is so completely wrong on that. It's not used as a transaction mechanism in the United States as of yet because we don't have enough people on board. Once we have enough people on board, of course, it's going to be used as a transactional mechanism. For me, as a forex trader, for me to get my money to my broker, the best way for me to do it is buy Bitcoin. Best thing I do is I buy Bitcoin through my Cash App, and then I take it from Cash App, and then I basically just blasted into my 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 account, and then it gets in there within 10-15 minutes. So in case I see a trade that's coming up and I really need to get in on it, and if I have enough money, or if I don't think I have enough money to get in on it, you know, it works perfectly. Yeah, Bitcoin still has some problems. It's a little clunky in some areas, but doesn't mean that it's not widely used. I mean, look at Dash, for example. Dash is like huge in Latin American countries. And we need something similar. So what she did propose in this is that she proposed the American digital currency, which I don't know if you already know, but the Chinese have been doing this for quite some time. You know, I wonder why they're all of a sudden trying to follow Chinese policy. Because Chinese have been better at been doing these things. There's the ones that have been mining Bitcoin. They're, you know, and we're just following in their footsteps now. It almost feels like we're no longer the economic leader. It feels like Janet Yellen is mad that we are. I don't even know what she's mad about. It doesn't make any sense. But she needs to get off her high horse, and she needs to start implementing things that are going to help us, right? Let me see here. How an investor might use the yen for a carry trade. Bank of Japan, okay, this benchmark borrowing rate at 0.01%. Investor borrows Japanese yen as low as investors exchange yen for Mexican pesos. Well, yeah, and we all know this is a very old, archaic system that Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies are now getting rid of. You know, it's becoming a, I mean, I hate to say it, a one world currency, but, and I used to be against the idea of a one world currency, which I still kind of am, as long, especially if it's controlled by a government. But if it's a one world currency that can be controlled by the people instead of the government, that would not be such a bad idea. Let's break this down. Let's find it. There is no comparison of Bitcoin to other currencies in regard to how often it is used in various purposes, such as illicit financing is conducting with the USD or any other currency for that matter. How would you even begin quantify with that anonymity of cash? People do bad things with cash all the time. People buy drugs with cash all the time. People finance, the CIA, for example, finances wars around the world with cash. What is so bad about having Bitcoin that can actually help starve families in Africa? Um, you know, it just blows my mind. This is just a complete power grab. Also, I think it is a way for people to be scared. It's a way for people to be scared, so that they don't purchase Bitcoin, right? Or at least they're selling off their Bitcoin. They're going, oh yeah, Janet Yellen's saying it's bad. Maybe we should take another look at this and think of a different route. And maybe we should go back to the old banking system, right? And you know, maybe actually put our cash in a cash deposit that yields you 3% a year. Granted, you know, if you had to put $1,000 in Bitcoin, as early as, you know, December, you would have $5,000 right now. That's more than a, you know, if you'd put $1,000 in a cash deposit, you would have $1,030. So granted, let's see what the heck is actually going on here. Sorry, Pickle Tickle. I know I went off on a rangent, but yeah, Ethereum. I will get to Ethereum. Let's get on that because we can obviously tell that Janet Yellen is wrong and has been wrong for quite some time. So let's actually get back over to the charts here, and I know I have it on XLK right now. This is what I was talking about with the financial sector. But let's talk about Ethereum, because I think everybody is wanting to know about Ethereum, because it is probably the best way to, you know, I'm going to use Coinbase instead of Bitfinex. That way I have a little bit of a cleaner chart here. And I made some markings, of course. Get my Fibonacci up here. Now, the way I am looking at Ethereum right now, and hopefully that you're still with us there. Hopefully I didn't lose you in all my Janet Yellen nonsense that's been going down. But that's what has been going down. There's been a lot of FUD going down around Janet Yellen and people you know, trying to scare people out of this crypto market. But I mean, the best thing is to make sure that you have a lot of, especially if you're an investor, have, you know, have a very diversified portfolio. That way, in case one thing goes down, you know, you're not too worried about it because you have enough money in other things. But the way I'm looking at this is that we're getting very, very near to the close to the bottom of what is probably, you know, the pullback, if we haven't already reached that. If I look at, see, this is what I was drawing earlier about this going up, And then you know, if I was going to go to here and I know I'm talking about dot right now, but if I was to go to BTC USD and then go to Coinbase, I think I also had the same line drawn out about how it was going down this way. Let's see here. I think these are the two same kind of like time periods. And it's not letting me do it very well. Hold on one second. And it is saying that YouTube is not receiving enough of my. Of course, it always wants to do. And I haven't done anything different. Have I been doing anything different since I've been on this stream that you guys have noticed? No. I don't understand. I even turned my phone off, actually. Here, let me turn my phone on airplane mode so it's not using any of my Wi-Fi right now. But if we were to look at this and look at these kind of things, especially what you're kind of taught is to especially look for something like this, right? And to look to see how it contrasts with something like this. Now here, I'm going to move these over because these have already been up. I like to look at fair value gaps to see if they have been used or not really used, but have been traded to, and what's the reaction that happens whenever they get traded to. So pull this back again here a little bit, so hang in here with me, guys. While I try to get this out of here, pull this back just a little bit more so we can see. That did come down and it did fall into this little fair value gap that we had seen within the 4-hour time frame. So it did come down, hit that what I would call basically an instant delivery of price to go up, right? And then it came back down, and it looks like it may have hit another I would call gap in prices is basically what I kind of classify these. Any kind of price movement that is a body, right? And he's currently active all streams. Are you sure he was to exit? No, I don't know what I clicked. You're crazy. So the way I look at this is that all of these, see, as you can see, this did come down, and the price that it hit, this low that it hit was 1356. What I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna see if I can't maybe make this a little bit easier for you guys to see. Came down to 11,356, which is right in between these two price limits here, which would be 1132 and about 1161. So it did come down into this fair value gap, pushed up, came back down, and then here is the area. These are the areas, I guess you could say, that you would look up to. So this is the interesting thing, is that you see these three price levels, right along the same line, right? And what you don't see is that you don't see it create another high. Instead, you see this, it comes down, all right, it hits this, doesn't make a low, that's fine. But what it doesn't do is it doesn't create another high. It comes down, it, you know, creates another higher low, but it doesn't create another high, right? So you could obviously see there is what people would call a wedge or a triangle, or however you want to call it. I don't like to do those kind of geometry type of things because I think it takes away from the focus of actually what is happening. And people are going, well, it's either going to break out this way or it's going to break out this way. No, you have to actually look at and see what is happening with the price. I could have told you that it was going to go below this line just by noticing that there's not been higher prices, right? You know, and it just continuing to go along. Now, the good thing here is, what I will notice is that you do have these two right here that have basically equal highs, right? This happened on the 27th around 1 o'clock, and around yesterday around 4 o'clock. Both had about equal highs, and guess where those equal highs came from? This equal highs came from, it looks like the bottom of this, yeah, maybe a little bit. Looks like it came from a little bit lower, but it looks like they didn't want to touch it. That's for sure. So if anything, what could have happened, and I've seen this happen before, is that let's say, this one took off. So this is no, this one didn't get stuck in there. This could be a bit of a shorter block, but it didn't get high enough. Same thing here, same thing here. Okay, so what I do see is these two candles here kind of forming a bearish order block, especially if it pushes up and then drops suddenly, right? You have these two candles right here that I would consider basically some kind of a bearish wave, bearish momentum, what have you. And so what I would personally do is look at these two from, wick to wick, and then look all the way across, right? Anything that crosses that path has been rejected, right? That's what you got to look at. Has nothing to do with this triangle coming down, right? And to see if it's going to get above this triangle and then, dip off of one of these or whatever. Kind of have to look at what these forces that push up and then push down and get lower than what was the push up, right? That tells you there's a bullish force in there, right? So that bullish force, of course, pushed this down and then got lower again, right? And then came back up, back into that same area, boom, automatically pushed down. And then, of course, it hits this fake imaginary trend line that everybody wanted to buy off of. And as soon as everybody was buying off of it and thought they were in the clear, boom, it went the exact opposite way. So this is why you don't trade off trend lines. This is exactly the reason why you don't trade off trend lines, right? If you trade off trend lines, you're going to end up like this, right? It goes, oh, boom, 1, 2, 3. Oh, it looks like it's working. Maybe this fourth time it's actually going to work and it'll take off and go somewhere. No, that's not what's been happening with the market structure all the way up into that point. The market structure that's been happening all the way up into that point is it's been getting lower. No higher highs, no higher highs, no higher highs. And then you think buying here just because it's a trend line is going to actually somehow magically going to make it go higher? No. You've got to be absolutely insane to think that, right? So what I will say is that we do have two equal highs here, right? So this is good. This right here is good. Good news. Good news, and the fact that once the price actually reaches, right, up into this point again, which it will, right? What people are going to do, people are going to start shorting it, right? And once people start shorting it, it's probably going to make a downturn, making people think, okay, I did the right job by shorting it. And then all of a sudden it's going to go like this because people are starting to short it, and so it's going to take them out. So generally, historically, that's what happens whenever you see equal highs. Or what it could do, it could do something similar. Instead of actually doing that, it does it again, right? Comes back up to this area, comes close, maybe flirts around with it a little bit, and then drops, right? And then it comes back up, and then as soon as you think it's going to drop again, it just skyrocket right through, because people have their sell limit set right here, and they have their stop losses set, maybe just a little bit above it, and then boom, it just shoots right through, takes the liquidity, takes everybody out, and people don't know what to do. So that's one thing you got to look out for. So what I want to do is also look at what's been happening over on the left side of the chart, right? So I want to see the current low, right? I want to look on the left side of the chart and see, and if I'm going to check the time on this really quick, because I know if around it, well, I got about 4 minutes left, so be prepared to join me for part 2, or part 4, I guess you could say, because we're going to start getting into some really technical stuff with Ethereum and Bitcoin, because it is coming, and I am a technical trader, and this is what I do. I look at these things, and I look to see what is happening and what we can do as far as moving forward. The good thing is that once it did hit this line, whatever this line represented, it did take off. Now, question is, how much higher is that line going to go? All right, so we did clear a little gap in here, right? It looks like now we could be seeing some reciprocity. We could be seeing a little bit of a pullback soon, right? I don't think this is going to be going forever. We could be seeing a little bit of a pullback soon, and maybe some continuation on from there. What I want to do is to look over on this side of the chart to see if there's anything that could possibly want to make this get lower, right? One of the things I see already is this line right here, right? This line right here would tell us that there is liquidity lying just below here. Oh, it looks like there's almost 2 equal lows right there together. So people would see this and they would say, well, this is a good area for it to be a support zone, right? And the reason they would think that is because if you're looking at an hour chart, you see, boom, you see a hit right here, you see a near hit right here, and then you think, oh, okay, so this could actually be a good spot for it for a turn to hit and then continue on moving. However, that's generally the opposite. It'll generally move right through that because people have their buy limits set right there. It'll move through those, take out their stop losses, and then move forward. But then we got to look at, if it is going to move through that, where is it going to move up from? Now we have all of this movement kind of going sideways in here, a little bit murkiness, not showing which sign of direction. No real kind of takeoff space here. And then, so I'm, looking at this, I'm trying to find to see if there would be a good order block or some kind of area to where you could say, hey, okay, this is where a